Social mobility is very difficult here, even today. And when your country is war-torn, when 5 million people have died, more bombs were dropped on Vietnam the entirety of World War II. What does it mean to be Vietnamese, living in a world that's so globalized? Kids in Vietnam, their pathways are pretty much set by their parents, set by society. Be a doctor, be a scientist, be an engineer.
There are a lot of teenagers out there who are just like me, who just love music, but doesn't really have a chance.
Music is a fundamental part of life. I think that's a kind of an Asia-wide phenomenon where the arts is not seen as the ultimate goal of life. It's not just about becoming a musician, it's becoming a more rounded human being.
Việt Nam đất nước ta ơi, mênh mông biển.
So it's natural for parents to worry about their kids. If they go down a path of entertainment, will they be able to, have a great life doing it?
If talent doesn't meet opportunity, then it's nothing. In a country of 95 million people, you've literally got no more than 20, 30,000 kids doing music. Where is home? What's going to be the future? This is where Mum and Dad left, and this is where it all began. The moment they stepped onto a boat, it was a very small boat. Everyone was sitting like this, all enclosed like that, I think 85 people. They knew that when they left, there's no returning. They were refugees. They had the courage to leave and to try to find a new life in search of a better life than they had here in Vietnam. For as far as I can remember, Mum and Dad always said to us, the only way for you to not be like us was to be educated. My dad was a potato picker, so I remember him coming home and his body would be full of just, dust and dirt and everything, and I can still remember that smell, that dew at about 6 o'clock in the morning, and the smell of the farm, and I remember my mother saying to me, never smell the earth when it rains, but every time it rains, I'm like, that smells so cool. There was one season where the dew literally killed the crop. I just remember the family working really hard because we'd lost everything. I think as an adult, you look back and you see how interesting, how difficult and how fun it was. But when you're growing up there, the one thing that my parents did so well was to really give us all the possibilities and to never feel that sense of poverty, never feel that you're poor. I went to school, I got a guitar and this white recorder. That moment changed my life forever. I just get the sense that music is part of me. Music is something that takes me into this other world that I'd never experienced before. We got pushed as kids. Morning, 6 o'clock, get up, school. If you didn't get 100%, if you weren't perfect, you're no good. It was just the way that it was. Discipline, discipline, discipline. During that time though, it was really interesting because both my parents pushed me in the arts as a day, which means like just as an extracurricular thing. They never thought that I would take that so seriously. At the same time, I started to feel this sense of not belonging anywhere. At home, Mum and Dad would be very strong about speaking Vietnamese. There was no English to be spoken at home. But the moment I'd step outside the door, it's, "G'day mate, how you doing?" And I just felt, okay, who am I? How do I fit in? I felt that to get the respect from the boys, I had to be like them. It's a sense of not knowing sort of who you are. And my father always said to me, "Son, I almost died 3 times getting out for you and your brother." The last thing you're going to do is disrespect me and disrespect the ancestors that have come before me by not knowing your language. I didn't understand that at that time. But I think many, many years later, when I came back to Vietnam, I understand why.
Tiếng Anh đúng không? Tiếng Anh. Tiếng Anh. Tiếng Việt à? Nhưng mọi người thích nghe nhạc gì? Chipu.
Indie.
Indie.
Dạ.
Dạ. Mà thường thường thì em nghe nhạc quốc tế.
Sao đâu?
Mọi người rất là những người theo phong trào.
When I grew up, music was always belittled, and like people did not really appreciate and value music, and people would like spend money on food and stuff, but they won't pay money to listen to music. I feel like there's a stigma with that, with the industry in general.
The infrastructure for entertainment and music is very limited here. How can you be a musician without venues? How can you be a musician without affordable rehearsal rooms, soundproof studios, a bar with a stage where you can play? It doesn't exist here. You want to take that first step and you realize you have to take 10 steps back.
Vietnam is already hectic, and like when I write my songs, I want to be like alone with my mind and my own thoughts. It's all because of I can't believe that 1 year ago you were right next to me, telling me how much you loved me so. Couldn't let go. Now we're both scarred, both miles apart. You moved on with your life. All my what falls apart, trying to hold on tight, trying to carry on. I should have known. I got my marks and I did pretty well. I had
the opportunity to do whatever I wanted to do. Here's Mum and Dad right in front of me. Every time I think about that moment, my body shakes. It's like the people that brought you into the world and you respect them so much. And you know that you're going to break their heart. And so the question is, do you or do you not? So I sat there and I said, Mum and Dad, I want to be an artist. My mother gave me a choice. She goes, đủ lông đủ cánh, which means you've got enough wings. You think you can go? Go. So at 17, I left. And literally within a couple of weeks, every major producer here had emailed or Facebooked me. And I just said, Vietnam? I come back, and I'm on all the major shows and the TV stations and everything. And it's just, for the first time, I'm living out my dream.
My people come alive. Tradition, beauty, and pride. This is what we do.
After a while, I didn't enjoy it anymore because there was no industry here. There weren't many songwriters here. It just lacked so much soul.
When the entertainment industry itself looks at the business industry of Southeast Asia as a viable market for artists, Vietnam is very much ignored. I think the market here, the official figure is 10 million a year, and America is 1.2 billion a year. So it's a huge difference.
When I step onto the streets of Ho Chi Minh City, there's nothing. Where's a jazz club? There's one jazz club here. Where do I hear live music? Where are the singer-songwriter nights? There aren't. It's literally music-less. I wanted to go back to Australia. Because in many ways, I came to Vietnam to come to terms with what it meant to be Vietnamese. Yet even when I came here, the Vietnamese saw me as a foreigner. I sat down with my wife and I said, Vân, where's the soul in the industry? There's no industry here. There's nothing for me here. She says to me, Anh Thanh, all I do is hear you complain and tell me what's wrong about this place. But what are you doing about it? So that night, we sat there and we thought, let's open an organization. What will it be called? And I said, I want to call it Soul. I never realized, though, how difficult it was going to be. How do you open a school here? How do you do that? So I'm not a Vietnamese citizen, I'm an Australian citizen. We had 1,000 people come through the door for the open day of Soul Academy. And out of the 1,000 people that came, we had 15 registrations. Was it a stab in the heart? Absolutely. Because everyone was telling us that it would not work. And in that moment, the numbers showed that it didn't work. Is the program too westernized? How do we get the image right so that it's for Vietnamese students? How do we bring in Vietnamese culture?
I have been teaching around, I think, 25 years. Khan asked me to coach some singers, and I told him, please teach me first. If you teach me, I understand what you want. And we have the lesson in the first meeting.
Mỗi ngày tôi chọn một niềm vui.
Chọn những bông hoa và những nụ cười.
And I sat down and said to her, Miss Joying, I have this vision of building a new school called Seoul, that we would have another alternative for Vietnamese children to be able to have access to the arts, but we would bring Western sensibility, better understanding of all the different genres in music, so that one day, maybe one day, we may have Grammy Award winners, Emmy Award winners, Vietnamese superstars who could represent the new Vietnam.
Seoul Music Performing Arts Academy is centered in this dynamic chaos of everything that's growing here.
So there's a little bit of space. And I think that's really critical in a very intense urban city, because it gives them that space.
Khúc đầu á.
Ta yêu nhau vào tháng 12. Năm đó đau lạnh xa hết đôi bàn tay. Mơ đó, trước khi mơ là em còn phải mở cái cơ trước. Vào trong giấc mơ, con open cái vết sầu trước.
Yeah.
Vào trong giấc mơ. Vậy là còn mơ.
Yeah.
Gì vậy? Vào trong giấc.
Yeah.
Vào trong giấc mơ.
When they can start to express themselves, it helps them with their mental mindset. Because if they don't express themselves, then you keep it in, you internalize it. And then if you're part of this community where you can't speak up, it starts to affect you negatively. And so this is where the I comes in this program. It's okay for you to share with me how you feel. I'll support that. And then how we bring it together with the we thing is, okay, let's dance.
I feel like sometimes I just scared that if I speak, will people judge me? When you look at me, what do you think I am? And is it the way that I think I am? You're a teenager, you're supposed to listen to your parents, you're supposed to listen to your guidance, but it's just a guidance. But they really don't show us to explore yourself. Icon to Soul teaches me being in a group helps you to develop like teamwork, but by protecting yourself first and speaking for yourself, now you really know what your identity and what you really want people to look at you.
And for me, as a person who works in industry, soul is critical because kind of plethora of young students coming up with belief in anything, that they can do anything, and how important arts is. If I have to work with them, and I've had to work with them, it's easy.
Because we wanted Seoul to be a place where we appreciate Vietnamese culture, but we also want the Vietnamese culture to grow because of other cultures.
Cái giáo dục mà qua âm nhạc và bắt đầu càng sớm với con, ở đây học trò mình là 4 tháng tuổi, thì thật sự nó đã bắt đầu cho các con có những cái cơ hội được tiếp cận, được gợi mở, được xây dựng, được phát triển ở rất là nhiều khía cạnh cho một cái hành trình phát triển của một con trẻ. Ví dụ như về thể chất, về tư duy, về ngôn ngữ, về kỹ năng xã hội, về trí tuệ cảm xúc, về tiềm năng âm nhạc qua cái chương trình Kinder Music.
You've got a grip on my mind, and things you couldn't live without playing both sides.
There's minimal representation of a full Vietnamese person internationally, and I feel like I want to be, hopefully I want to be someone who can show kids that, you can achieve more than the expectation.
This is a legacy that we hope that for generations that they will be able to build their careers upon, which is very exciting. When you're young, you have ambition, you have dreams.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Hey! What you guys working?
Check it out.
What are you guys working on, eh?
When the trains come in.
This is Vietnam. This is the next generation of Vietnamese students that are coming out of Vietnam that have the sense of cultural identity, but understands the world as well. And so this concept of 180 West, 180 East coming together and represent Vietnam on this global stage.
I don't think you're ever okay until you know exactly where you're from. And I've been on that journey my whole life. This whole understanding of who am I? Am I Vietnamese? Am I Australian? Straddling between two different cultures and two different sets of identities. I'm Vietnamese. This is where I'm from.
Bao la như biển Thái Bình và vườn dào, tình mẹ tha thiết như dòng suối hiền ngọt ngào, lời mẹ êm ái như đồng lúa chiều rì rào, tiếng ru bên thềm trăng ta soi bóng mẹ yêu. Lòng mẹ thương con như dừng trăng tròn mùa thu, tình mẹ yêu mến như làn gió đùa mặt hồ, lời ru mang mát em như sáo diệu giật giờ, nắng mưa sớm chiều vui cùng tiếng hát trẻ thơ. Thương con thao thức bao đêm trường, con đầy giấc mẹ hiền vui sương biết bao. Thương con khuya sớm bao tháng ngày, lặn lội gieo neo nuôi con cho mưa gió không quang thân gầy mẹ hiền. Một sương hay nắng cho bạc mái đầu buồn phiền